Then we go on to chapter 11, decision trees. Decision is about you taking a decision means you deciding on what the future of your organization is going to be like. So you're taking decisions based on what could happen in the future. So making decisions, you have to take decisions, but any decision you take, there's likelihood that it's risky. Why will it be risky? It will be risky based on two situations. One, you might be taking that decision and you have limited information to base that decision. You want to take a decision about something, but you don't have so much information to base that decision you want to take. So that is a risk. Two, the outcome. Even if you have information to base your decision, the outcome might be uncertain. Like maybe it's a probability, maybe we're going to make it or might not make it. So making decisions involves risk, which is based on either one, limited information, or there is uncertainty regarding the result or the outcome. Do you get what decision is about? So whichever businesses that is taking decision, whatever decisions you take as entrepreneurs, there's likelihood that it involves risk. And it involves risk based on the fact that one, we might be having limited information to base our decision. Two, the outcomes might be uncertain. So let's read what we wrote here. So making decisions here. I said making decisions. Businesses make decisions daily, and most, if not all, involves some risk. So it involves risk because of what I just said earlier. It involves risk because you might not have more information. You might be having limited information. You might not be having sufficient information to base your decision. And two, the outcome of decision may be uncertain. That means the probability is maybe 1/2. You don't know. It might go right, it might go wrong. So that means making decisions most likely has to involve risk. I think that's clear. So we go to decision tree, which is the topic. So what are decision trees? A decision tree. I wrote a decision tree is a method of thinking about the alternative outcomes of any decision and presenting this in a diagram. So you are taking a decision. So whenever you are taking that decision, you're not going to just take one. You would have different alternatives. So each alternative, you are putting them on a diagram. So that's what we mean by decision tree. You are taking decisions and you are putting each alternative into a diagram. That is what a decision tree is. Do you get it?
Yes.
So it implies that it is a technique which shows all possible outcomes of a decision. So if you are taking that decision, because you have a tree, which will show your quantity approach, which will show how decisions are, the alternatives you have, they will be represented in a square. So if I'm taking decision of A, this is the outcomes of A. These are the possible outcomes of A. If I'm taking decision about B, these are the possible outcomes of B. That is what a decision tree is. So you are using different methods. You are using different technical methods to come up with outcomes that are likely to occur if you take certain decision. That is what a decision tree is. Is it clear, please?
Yes.
Okay. So what are the features of decision tree? So I said here, it is suggested that effective decision making comes more from quantitative approach. So when you talk about quantitative approach, remember when we were talking about, what was the topic we were talking about? When we were talking about the about investment appraisal, we said most decisions are always quantitative. When you want to really take decisions that will give a positive outcome, they have to be quantifiable. Why? Because with quantities, you'll be able to say, hey, this happens in 2005. We made $5,000 sales in 2005, or we made $2,000 sales in 2008. So these are quantities. So these are figures that would give you a positive outcome. So whenever you're taking decision, you're not just going to say it. You based it on the quantities that you have seen in the past. Do you understand what quantities? So that's why they said, that's why they suggested that the best way to take effective decision is to use quantitative approach. Do you understand why we have to use quantitative approach here? We use quantitative approach so that our decisions can be effective. And what are quantitative approach, or what is a quantitative approach? Here I wrote, this is where information on which decisions are based and the outcomes of decisions are expressed as numbers. Like I told you, oh, in 2008, we made 50,000 sales. These are figures. So you're not just saying, yeah, we made sales. We made profit. Profit of how much? So with that quantity, with that number, with that figure, you'll be able to compare the past with the present. Do you understand quantitative approach here?
Yes.
You base your decision based on numerical values. So we go to the features of decision tree. The first one, decision point. What is a decision point? I wrote, this is the point where decisions have to be made in a decision tree. So it implies to a combination of one or more conditions that define the condition of various possibilities. So we have it here, the decision point. This is the point at which you have to make that decision. So in the course of making that decision, what comes to your mind is, now that we're going to take this decision, oh, what are the possible outcomes? So that is where you start thinking about the possible outcomes. So you can't make an outcome, you can't think about an outcome without taking that decision, without reaching that point of making decision. It is only when it is after you make a decision that you'll be thinking of, or you'll be expecting the outcome. But without making a decision, there's not going to be outcome. Without an action, there won't be reaction. So that means there should be something would have happened that you are expecting a result for. So that thing that has happened is that decision you took as an entrepreneur or as a manager. Then what you are expecting is the outcome. Do you understand what decision point is here? Yes. So decision point here is A, is represented in the square. So now that decisions have been taken, the next thing is what? The outcomes. So when you talk about outcomes, here I wrote outcomes, point where there are different possible results in a decision tree. These outcomes are represented by circles. You have the circles here, B and C. These are the possible outcomes when you take the decision, B and C, and you see it there. Okay. So at that point in time, these are what the results are going to be, either a success or a failure. That is definitely. So if you are taking a decision, either the decision succeeds or the decision fails. Do you understand? So that is what outcome is. Outcomes means the possible results you could get from those different possible, or from those decisions you took. Then we'll go to the third feature here. Then they said these outcomes are represented by circles and are called chance nodes. These are the chance nodes. The circles, B and C, they are the chance nodes. What are chance nodes? It shows the decision tree that, oh, what could happen, the possible outcome when this decision is taken. Do you understand? The diagram representing the possible outcome of a decision, or the diagram representing the possible outcome of the decision point. Do you understand what chance nodes is now?
Yes.
Okay. Then the third feature is probability or chance. So here, when you talk about probability or chance, I wrote, this is where the chance of a particular outcome occurring is given a value. Here, there's an outcome. You know, first you talk about outcome, which is either a success or failure, right? So when you have to give that outcome, when you have to quantify that outcome, we call it probability or chance. That is the third feature of decision tree. There's an outcome, which is either a success or a failure. Are you with me? So when you have to quantify that outcome, then we talk about probability or chance. So if the outcome, when you talk about probability, so if the outcome is certain, then it is 1. The probability is what? 1. That means it will happen. The probability of you writing your exams is 1 because it's going to happen. It's going to occur. So yes, you are studying for your exams. The outcome is for you to do the exam. So the outcome is either a success or a failure. Definitely it's going to be a success. But this probability there is that you have to write the exams, which is certain. It's 1. That's the third feature. The first feature of a decision tree is decision point. The point at which you have to take this decision and to understand different possibilities. of the outcome. So what is an outcome? An outcome is where the different possible events result in a decision tree will be known. So this is what is going to happen. It's going to be a success. It's going to be a failure. It's going to be a failure. It's going to be a success. We represent it with a chance node. What is a chance node? When you represent the outcome in a circle, we call it a chance node. Then we have the third feature, which is probability or chance. What is probability or chance? It means that the decision you are taking, you are quantifying it. You are giving it a numerical figure or value. That is probability. Oh, it's 1, it's 0.5, it's 0.7. This is what we meant by probability. Is it clear? Then the third feature, which is the last one, is the expected monetary value, EMV. So when we talk about expected monetary value, this is the financial outcome of that decision. The financial outcome of the decisions you've taken. That's what we call the EMV. So how do you calculate your EMV? It is your success minus your failure. You know, based on the decision you took, there's going to be a probability. So the probability will be maybe 0.5. If the probability is 0.5, that means the success is 0.5, the failure is 0.5. Because the probability of it happening is 1. So if it is not going to happen, then if it's not going to happen, it's 0. If it is 50-50, it's 0.5. So that is how you base your probability. So for the expected monetary value, it is what? The figure of your success minus the figure of the failure. Success minus failure. Do you get it?
Yes.
So here I wrote expected monetary value. This is the financial outcome of the decision. I said that already. EMV is equals to success of the decision minus failure of the decision. Do you get that?
Yes.
All right. So we'll go down, please. That's all about EMV and decision tree. So let's go down to the case study. So here it says Swift Air owns a chain of 65 air salons in Sweden. Due to very strong competition, the revenue has fallen in the last couple of years. Are you there?
Yes.
Can you please continue the reading as a means of?
The activity. Right?
Yeah, as a means of boosting revenue.
As a means of boosting revenue, it has been suggested that the chain, like many retailers, should use a special offer to attract more customers. Swift Hair plans to offer a half-price hair treatment all day on one of the days in the work week. However, Swift Hair is not sure which day would be best to make the half-price offer. In order to help make the decision, an investigation was carried out in a sample of salons. Different salons would make the offer on different days, but salons are closed on Sundays. And it was decided not to target Saturdays because it was traditionally a busy day. The data gathered during the investigation is shown in Table 1.
Thank you. So look at this table. So Swift Air, they're making, they want to take a decision. So taking that decision, you need to understand the success rate and the rate of failure based on decision. So here we have the special offer day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday.
So
Wednesday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday.
yeah.
Those are the days. So we have the probability of success, then the estimated effect of profit, that's the SEK for that amount. Then we have the probability of failure. We have to complete the log for the probability of failure. Then we have to complete the log for the expected monetary value. So how do we understand, how do we complete the probability of failure? So we check the success. The success is 0.5.
Yes.
That means it is 1/2. So that means failure is 0.5. So the probability of failure on Monday is 0.5. I think that is clear. Then it's clear, right?
Yeah.
So the expected monetary value will be your decision of success minus the decision of failure. So what is the decision of success? Is 0.5 multiplied by the estimated effect of profit, which is 0.5 multiplied by 1,300, which is 650. 0.5 multiplied by minus 200, that gives you minus 100. So EMV will be 650 minus 100, which is 550. So that's the expected monetary value on Monday. On Tuesday, 0.5 multiplied by 1,700. So the probability of failure will be 0.5 also.
So it's out of 1.
Yeah, it's out of 1. It's either it happens or not.
Okay.
So you have to base it on 1. So if it is 1/2, that means it may or may not. So it is either a success, it has 50-50 chance. So EMV here will be 850 minus 0.5 multiplied by minus 400, that's minus 200. So 850 minus 200 will give us 650. So the EMB on Tuesday will be 650. And on Wednesday, 0.7 multiplied by 400 gives us 280. Then 0.7, it is 1. 1 minus 0.7 gives us 0.3. So the probability of failure will be 0.3. I think you get on Wednesday. So the probability will be 0.3. Is it clear?
Yes.
Then 0.3 multiplied by 1,200 gives us 360. So 280 minus 360 gives us minus 80. So on Wednesday, we're going to have a negative figure as an expected monetary value. Then on Thursday, 0.6 multiplied by 1,000, which is 600, minus 0.6 minus 1 gives us 0.4. So the probability for failure is 0.4. So 0.4 multiplied by minus 800 gives us minus 320. So 600 minus 320, we have the expected monetary value of 280. Then the last one, 0.6 multiplied by 1,100 gives us 660. Then the probability of failure will be 0.4. So 0.4 multiplied by minus 400 gives us minus 160. So 660 minus 160 gives us 500. So that's how we complete the table. Is it clear?
Yes.
So they said on financial grounds, that is for financial reasons, which day should the special offer be arranged? So which day on Monday, right? On Tuesday.
Yeah.
On Tuesday, because it has the highest value on Tuesday. Is it clear?
Yes.
So that's about decision 3. Any question about decision 3?
No.
Okay.